Hey, Ty Savino here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, make sure you always hit that subscribe button. Show some love because I'm going to be giving out the value. Make sure you hit the notification bell too so you can stay in tune with all these videos once they drop. This video is going to be the second part of my KEEPA graph series. And in this one, we went over the basics on how to use it. And now we're going to learn how to look at different graphs, learn how to analyze them, and then gain some confidence when we're going to choose a product based off the information on the KEEPA graph. So hopefully this helps and brings massive value and less confusion. Let's get into it. All right. We're in my KEEPA, and I got 5 graphs, and this first graph is going to be the most common graph you're probably going to see, from new seller count, the sales. It has Amazon, FBA, and FBM selling on it. Most listings, that's what it is. It'll have all 3. So when I'm looking at it, there's a fluctuation of the buy box. The price usually fluctuates a little bit. And the new offer count is very average as well, because most listings that I find have 10 to about 35 sellers on it. So that would probably be the average range on each listing. And then for sales, most sales are usually anywhere from 30 to 150. That would probably be the average range on most listings. And we can check this one, and it is, yeah, it sells 100 a month. So another thing too on the graph, the main things you're going to look at after you click everything on a common graph is just make sure you look at the sales. Like, this is probably a good indication right off the bat that Amazon's not taking up too much inventory and the green line is zigzagging a lot. This is a common graph, and another common graph would be when Amazon controls the whole listing. So Amazon right now is pretty much destroying this listing. As you can see, the orange line really never disappears, and the blocks underneath them never go away. They hardly ever run out of inventory, like hardly ever. As you can see, there's very small periods of inventory running out, so they most likely control the buy box. They don't really limit sales, and this is one of their main products that they sell. You can see it because if we go to all 934 days, they control the listing for all 934 days. Another thing people might look at this is you see the price. It only sells 10 a month. So with 10 people selling and Amazon controlling it, some people might say, well, why can't I sell this high ticket item and just sell 1 or 2 a month and make profit? You're right, you could technically, but I want it, and I want to go deep into analyzing these type of graphs when you see them, because even if you do flip 1 or 2 of these routers for 230 bucks, the time that Amazon runs out of stock and gives it away, like, it's ridiculous. Months are going by. Like, this 1 month just went by. If they don't run out of inventory, you're most likely not going to make a sale, and if you do make a sale, it might take so long that when you went to go list it at 209, the time it sold sold for 171.99. So you have to calculate your margin by looking at the new price fluctuation, plus Amazon is never going to run out of inventory, so therefore they might not share the buy box. The time that you make a sale, it might not be the sales price that you want. This is lesson 2. This is the most common graph that you don't want to see and you stay away from. All right, let's move on to, so this is a higher priced item that sells very well. As you look at the sales, remember, every time it spikes down as a sale, it's staying the same, and its category is climbing. Sale, it's climbing up. Little baby sales, a couple sales. You see, so it's very good. Also, if you look at the whole life cycle, it's gone up a little bit because it's probably been out for a while. But this is how I would analyze the sales rank. Also, there's no Amazon but in this very small period of time. So this is a very ideal graph. If you find a product like this with hardly any Amazon in it, and you see that little trick I did, how you can scroll over a date range. So from the 24th through the 29th, they had a good amount of inventory and they just sold out. But if you look at the whole listing, they never came back into inventory ever again. So that's awesome. Also, when I look at this, I see a low seller count. So that's making me, there's less competition. So if there's only 5 offers, you're in the 6th one, and there's only 4 Prime members, you're only competing with them. So you can try to compete with them with the buy box by lowering your price by 1 cent or staying at the same price as the main sellers. Now, what you're going to want to look down here as well is look at statistics. So it sells 114 a month. It has hardly any people selling on it, let alone the 5 people that are selling on it might not be all Prime. and there's a good opportunity to make a good amount of sales if you can source it. The price fluctuations a little bit, but what I would judge this based off of, if I could source this product for like $100, I'd probably judge it off of like a lower, probably like 150 would be my margin, and it'd probably be like $15 profit. But I know that 140 is the lowest, and the highest I could probably go to is about 250. So I know what my profit margins are. We know it has good sales rank. We know Amazon does not compete. The buy box is staying pretty much FBA, FBM. I love it. You know, there is some competition. It has low sellers, and it sells a good amount a month. This is 100%. If you find these graphs, take them on, especially if they're higher price points too, because you're going to make more capital. Here's another one. Now, this listing, you know, it's got a smaller price range because it's only $25, but it does have some good sales. It has no Amazon, which is so clutch. So this is a very ideal graph. We just want the same numbers in sales as the last graph I show. I'm pretty sure this only sells 30 to 50. It sells 41. So if the user count, now the user count is at 20, so the sales is good, the price hardly moves, you can probably make profit. But when I come down to the second graph, if you guys look at new offer count, there's 19 of these guys. All right, and it's selling 41 a month. I'm assuming at least 10 to 15 of these guys are prime. You can get Thai beanies from a few different places through TA when using it. So to be honest, looking at that number, 41 a month and 20 sellers, I would have to definitely go check the sellers on Amazon, add some of the Prime members on the lowest price point for this item into your cart, do the 999 trick and see what their inventory is. And after you evaluated that inventory, you can see how many they have now. If there's 10 Prime members and it's only selling 40 guys and they all have 3 apiece and they're all around the same price, you're gonna have to compete with them, or you're most likely only gonna make 1 or 2 sales. So something like this, if it has less, to be honest, I probably wouldn't use this. I probably would buy 1 or 2 just to fill up my cart to get free shipping at the store that I sourced this from. But looking at the sellers, so even though the top graph is awesome, it's close to my numbers, 50 plus. That's what I like, 50 plus sales a month. The only thing is there's just too many offer counts. Like I could go check this for Prime, but I'm most likely not, because 20 divided by 40 is 2 sales, and I might not even get my 2 sales. So this is probably a no-go for me. But if you wanted to source it, this is still a viable product to source. And then the last graph that I wanted to go over is something like this. So sometimes I see graphs like this, and you might not be analyzing them correctly because you'll put Amazon new sales rank and the new offer count. And the first thing that's going to pop in your head is it's got a good sales rank and Amazon's not selling on it. And then the second thing I see is that it only has 1 new offer count. So you might get really excited and be like, oh, I'm gonna hop on here, sell it for a lot of money, da da da. But when I see this graph, there's 2 things that are instantly showing me something. If you see it, it says 1 new seller, and right above that is Amazon of all May and August. So when they ran out, no one sold anything. As you can see, there's only 1 count, 1 new count, and then it disappears. I don't even know how the sales rank is staying the same. And then all of a sudden it appears again. So this is kind of telling me that this appears again and comes back. So these are probably all different guys with the same person coming back in stock. This is probably saying that it's gated, or the brand is gated in that category, or the ASIN is gated. Because I don't know why people wouldn't. iZod is bought from a bunch of different stores. If you do retail arbitrage or online arbitrage using TA, you'll find these shirts all over the place. So it's most likely gated. So if I see something like this, the first thing I'm going to want to do is, if you found this a tactical arbitrage, click the A, right? The Amazon A, it'll bring you to a Seller Central account, and then you'll be able to list the product, and it'll show you any requirements that you'll need to sell yours. The button will say sell yours, or it'll say limitations. If it says limitations, it's already means it's gated most likely, or that brand is gated under clothing. So that's, when I see these graphs, that's pretty much telling you that. You don't have to really waste your time like going to source the ASIN and seeing why there's only 1 seller. It's most likely you can't sell it. And I think the third thing too is the reason why people might not be sourcing it. There might be other iZod shirts or other colors or variations that just do better, and most people just haven't even paid attention to this listing, which is the third thing to tell me I'm not selling it. Don't just sell something because you make profit. You got to look at the trending, what's trending. I want to see a good amount of offer counts. I want to hope Amazon's not on it. I want to see a healthy BSR bouncing up and down. Remember, every time goes up a little bit and bounces down a little bit, it's making sales. So if it's kind of like big blocks like this over and over again, when you come down here, it's probably bullshit. It's probably not 37 sales. It's probably like 12 a month. So these are very fast indications. I just don't, when you get used to it, when you see graphs like this, you'll start seeing, you gotta look at the new offer count, the BSR, the fluctuation of new price, and then see if Amazon stays in inventory for way too long. Also, the buy box. I know the buy box to people seems confusing. It was confusing to me at first. But if you look at this, it says in the pink box, $33 by Amazon. And then as you scroll, all they did was just lower their price. See how the price changed to 24 and then it says by Amazon? That means Amazon has the $24 price. That doesn't mean necessarily that there is another sales going on. It just means that's the buy box, and it has not been changed by Merchant Fulfilled or FBA or Amazon. It's just staying the same. So as you scroll over though, this is so unhealthy right here. I don't ever want to see this, like no new offer count or anything like that. And then bam, the buy box. Now this shirt is getting sold for $83.49 by fulfillment by merchant. And then if you scroll over just a little bit more, and then it's fulfilled by merchant again. So they'll tell you who's running the buy box, and if that's pretty much like if you clicked on the listing and you went there, it would say $83.49 for the price, and then like plus free shipping or something like that. And that's why it controls. But if you were Prime and you went to $83.48, you would show up and it would say fulfilled by third-party FBA, and then you would be controlling the buy box. So people would have to match your price or go lower to get it. But usually people that buy, we're not competing against them unless some FBM merchants do have Prime. So technically we're competing against them. But the statistics and the data that they have to get to even qualify for that is pretty much never sending out any late products to people, because it's like drop shipping almost. You make a sale and then they got to push it out of their house to the customer. Don't worry about that. You're probably never going to really compete against FBM. It's just FBA. You're competing against other FBA sellers that are Prime, and then you just want to avoid Amazon. So these are the main graphs. I hope that analyzing this data helps you. Also, I wouldn't buy this product. So out of these 5, I would buy a few of this one, even though Amazon's on it once in a while, because it's a pop, it's trending. I don't like the sales price on this one, but some pops are like, I can get them for like $6-7 and sell them for $20-something. I would get it. This is a product you always want to stay away from. This is a product that sells very well and has a high price point. Amazon hardly is ever on it. This is an ideal graph, but remember we went through it and I probably would only source a couple because the sales are a little low compared to the offer count. And last but not least is when these graphs come up, I'm probably not even going to check them out or source them because of the new offer count, and just there's too many missing blocks and data on the graph. You want a healthy KEEPA graph, right? We want as much data as we possibly can get, but we don't want data that we don't need to be confused. That's why I showed you which things to click, and then we went over each, the sales rank, the new price, Amazon. I hope this definitely helps. And then the last part of this video I want to go over is the 5 steps when we're in TA that you can quickly go over to calculate whether you want to even sell this product, to even get to the KEEPA graph, to even check sales rank or anything. But that'll be in another video right after this, and we're going to break that down for you. But this is how you read a KEEPA graph and analyze whether you want to sell it. And part 1 is just the basics of using a KEEPA graph. I hope this gave a shit ton of value to you guys. All right, I know there's a lot of stuff out there. It's really boring. They usually just show you how to use KEEPA, but don't analyze these graphs like I did. These are the most common ones that I find. It does not matter the product. They usually just show up like this. Like I said before, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay in tune with all my videos, especially in the next one coming up. And also, just keep showing me love, and I'm going to keep spreading the value, and we're going to grow together in business, and we're just going to keep it pushing. All right, guys, stay classy. See you next video.